Da Vinci famously said, to develop a complete mind, study the science of art, study the art of science. Learn how to see. Realize that everything connects to everything else. What does this mean? This means that he understood that he could study art in a scientific way, and he could study science in an artistic way, and that what he was told reality wasn't the way that it was. Maybe we perceive reality by the constructs that we've been given and not for what reality actually is. If you want to develop a complete mind, you need to develop multiple aspects of your life. That's why the same thing with your mastermind. You went and you developed a more complete mind because you learned from people, from aspects that you'd never even recognize were reality. Learn how to see, realize that everything connects to everything else. So how you do fitness is how you do business. How you take care of your girl is how you're going to take care of your customers. How you're honest with yourself is how you're going to be honest with others. Everything connects to everything else.
Yep. Leonardo da Vinci famously said, God will sell you all things at the price of labor. What he was trying to convey is that all the byproducts of life have a cost. They require effort, they require dedication. You cannot have success without suffering. You cannot have winning without effort and without dedication. God will sell you all things at the price of labor. You want to be successful? You're going to have to work for it. You want a good relationship with your spouse? You're going to have to work for it. You want a good physique? You want good health? You're going to have to work for it. But it's easily available to those individuals that input the right amount of effort and energy in order to accomplish their dreams. Once you've determined what you want and where you want to go, you need to input the necessary amount of energy in order to get there. If you want to go from point A to point B in a car, you got to drive. The motor's got to crank up and it's got to go. In the same way, it applies to our life. If you want to achieve success, you're going to have to pay the price. And it won't be cheap. It'll be tireless nights, long days, empty bank accounts, depressing thoughts, isolation, loneliness, tribulation, heartaches, headaches, and a lot of pain. But on the other side of pain is pleasure. On the other side of pain is success. And if you understand that and you have that as the beacon in the forefront of your life, well, work becomes more bearable. The journey becomes more enjoyable because you understand that in due time, you will sow, and in due time, you will reap. So as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he.
Leonardo da Vinci famously said, God will sell you anything at the price of labor. And that is true. So what you have to do is if you want something, you have to work for it. And most people that think that the world is based off of luck have never truly worked for something. Not enough to understand that luck does not exist. It's merely a game of probabilities. You work hard, you work more, you work longer, and eventually you can increase your odds of success.
Everything originates in the mind. You know, the idea is what inspires the opportunity for you to get up and pursue a business. The inspiration that you observe and you think about, most people don't focus on their mindset. Most people are focused on exterior factors. They think that everything that happens to them is by chance. And they don't realize that a lot of the things that happen to them are things that they attract. Because you attract the things that you are, and you are what you do, and you do what you think about. So it's all a cyclical loop. Most people don't understand the power of the mind. That's why they haven't tapped into the power of the mind. And the power of the mind is one very simple thing: the ability to direct your attention towards a specific given objective, and then to have the willpower to pursue it. Most people, obviously, don't know where they're going because they never have a goal. You need to have a clear goal. If you don't have a goal, you don't know where you're going to go in life. If I ask you today, what's your financial goal for this year, for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years? Would you be able to answer? Would you be able to say, yeah, this is my goal? And I'm not talking about how many millions of dollars you want to have. I'm talking about the positioning. What type of business are you going to have that's going to generate cash flow? What type of investments do you want to have? You need to be able to be very specific about the life that you want, about who you want to become. Mindset, your ability to develop thoughts, is extremely important because your thoughts dictate and create your reality. Thoughts lead to actions, actions lead to behaviors, and behavior leads to lifestyle. Everything connects to everything else is because you're interacting with it. So it's how you perceive life and who you are that's going to dictate how you see everything. You'll interact with your marriage, your relationships, your business partners, your employees, your colleagues, the same way you operate with everybody because it's who you are. Mm-hmm. The reason skill stacking is extremely important is because it gives you the ability to, one, become multidimensional, which we talked about. Two, it's understanding that the skills that you're stacking can also be applied to different areas of life. That's why I call them interchangeable or interlinked skill sets. Mm-hmm. How you sell, for example, you can utilize selling in your relationship with your children, in the relationship with your business partners, in your contract deals. Persuasion, you can utilize it in multiple verticals of life. So you can take your toolkit or your set of skills and apply it to multiple dimensions. Your ability to negotiate, your ability to market. You know, that's why skill stacking is super important at an early age, because it positions you and gives you an advantage over people that are very niched in the marketplace.
Leonardo da Vinci famously said, "To develop a complete mind, study the art of science and study the science of art. Learn how to see. Realize that everything connects to everything else." To understand that suffering, sacrifice, connects to everything else, that it is an equation to success, you accept it as a necessary ingredient to get to the top. Why? Because most people are not willing to do it. Most people are not willing to put in the extra mile. Most people are not willing to put in the extra necessary labor. They're not willing to invest in themselves. They're not willing to go through the sacrifice or the potential loss. But when it's all said and done, you and I are gonna end up in the same place. We're gonna end up in the grave. So how risky is life? It's super risky. We're gonna die, all right? That's the end game. So what is there truly to lose? Nothing. You just realize that it's part of the equation, and when you understand that everything connects to everything else, you begin to develop a complete mind. And a complete mind is a mind that lives in a state of sobriety. The state of sobriety gives you the opportunity to realize that you cannot be single focused. You cannot just be focused on winning. You cannot just be focused on making money. You need to develop a complete mind. You need to develop a well-rounded mind. You need to be willing to give up the parties on Saturday nights while everybody else is celebrating, you know, with their little Shopify bottle board that you see on Instagram and things like that. While they're partying, you're working. While they're sleeping, you're working. While they're at the cinema eating junk food, you're at home healthy, eating organic food, developing your mindset. Why? Not because you're a freak, but because you realize that in order to get to the next level, you must be willing to sacrifice the necessities and the requirements to get to the next level. It's not by chance. A person does not arrive to the top of the mountain because he was just simply dropped there. So this idea of luck, to me, does not exist. To me, this idea of luck is merely probabilities.
Seneca famously said that the mind focused on future events is miserable. I see so many people focusing on the things that they cannot control. They want to make $1 million, but obviously you can't dictate the specific day that you're going to become a millionaire. They want to develop a better physique, but you can't specifically dictate the day where you'll be proud of the body that you have if you're overweight or if you're too skinny. You need to understand that you can't be focused on the future. What you need to be focused is on the present moment. What you can control today, the habits that you input today, the amount of work ethic and good attitude that you portray today. These are the things that matter. The Stoics used to speak about these things because it is so easy to either reminisce in the past or to be conjuring imaginary scenarios of the future, oftentimes negative, that lead a present moment of stress and a state of being miserable. So if you want to be in a life that is full of equanimity, equanimity means the calmness of the soul, and a life that is full of peace, you need to be here now, focusing on what you can control. If you want to make more money, perfect, clock in. If you want to become more financially literate, you're gonna have to pick up the books and get educated. If you want a better physique, you're gonna have to eat healthier food and you're gonna have to exercise. Not focused on the future, but focused on what you can do today. And by natural law, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. The universe will give you exactly what you deserve. Don't live a life of misery by living in the past or living in the future, but live a life of peace and equanimity by being here, right now.
I think the most important thing is to become the best version of yourself, to become and achieve your fullest potential. So many people limit themselves based off of what somebody else has told them they are, based off of the limitations of their parents, their teachers, their education, the system. But you can truly become whoever you want to be. And I wanted to push this message of hope, and I wanted to push this message of, if you work hard, if you are consistent, and if you dedicate yourself to a worthy ideal, you can become whoever you want to become.
Yeah.
And I've gotten messages from thousands of people all around the world who are truly changing their lives, whether developing better physiques, whether making more money, whether reconnecting with their partner and having better relationships. And it's being an example to people. An example doesn't mean you need to be perfect. And that's something that I'm really clear about. I'll show my flaws. I say some crazy shit. I do some crazy shit, but I'm me. And through that authenticity, it resonates with people, and people resonate with truth, right? People resonate with truth.
Of course, yeah.
So when you understand something to be true, when you know the truth and you resonate with it, you don't have to kind of convince somebody into your lifestyle. They see it and then
they like it.
They like it and then they fuck with it. They resonate with it and then they adopt it for themselves. And that's kind of what I always tell people. Hey, don't judge my words. Don't judge my actions. Don't even judge my lifestyle. Just test it out. Just test out going to the gym a couple times a week. Just test out having a whole foods diet. Just test out building a business online. Just test out actually investing and going to networking events. Go and build relationships. Go find mentors and see if it works for you. And if it doesn't, perfect. You can then go back to your 9 to 5. You can then go back to university.
Well, at least you tried it.
These things will be there. But the last thing you want is to live with the what if and never have actually pulled the trigger because, somebody told you out there how something was supposed to be.